Well, first of all, thank you for coming on. This is going to be fun. Introduce your story.
Hi guys, so my name is Faith Cheers, and I am currently studying exercise science with the intention and goal of getting my personal training certification and dueling it with nutrition. And I'm super excited because this is something I have wanted to do my whole life, and I'm finally pursuing my goals and believing in myself, and that's the biggest thing there, baby. And I was a biology major, and I was on a pre-med track, and I just decided that wasn't for me, and I wanted to pursue, the health and fitness world. That's like my whole life. I love it so much. Yeah.
When were you introduced to fitness?
Actually, I make the joke that I have been in the gym since I was in diapers because my dad was a bodybuilder, and then my mom would train with him. So I would be pushed around in one of the old school gyms. A powerhouse, that's what it's called. And they're pushing me around in a stroller, lifting, doing their thing. And I remember one of my first memories of the gym, I was like 12 maybe, and I went in the gym with him, and we're watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians while we're on the treadmill, and they're teaching me little things here and there. And so my dad really has taught me everything, and that's where I've learned all of my lifting and nutrition and all that, and he really brought me into it. So diapers.
That's really cool. You always see either people that are exposed to something from a young age love it, or they're I've outgrown it kind of. Even though you don't outgrow fitness, it's a good thing that you didn't have that it's really not for me type of mindset, even though you were always around it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because I didn't realize how much it was going to be my world. But as I got older, I remember in high school, I think freshman year, I was I want to train people. I want to teach people, but I didn't believe in myself, and I didn't think oh, I can do this. And I think it's because, I was still struggling with some of my own, issues with nutrition and all that really kind of put a roadblock. So I was okay, I'm doing med school. That's what I'm going to do. And I guess as I've worked through that, I'm oh, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. That's where I belong, and I can do it. And, I guess realizing what you want for yourself in your life and believing yourself are the biggest things there.
Absolutely.
And I kind of catapulted me to do it.
Not speaking for you, but I think a lot of times, growing up, we see personal training as something that isn't a serious route to go down. And, medical school is a serious route to go down. So, potentially maybe you didn't take yourself seriously with wanting to train people because other people didn't take personal training seriously. But when you kind of saw the value in it and what it could do for a person, and then that's kind of when you saw the, hey, I can take this seriously and I can do this, I can put real value into people's lives with this just as much as I can with, medical school.
No, absolutely. That was said so perfectly because, I always knew I wanted to help people. I love helping people. I love people. I'm a huge, people person. And, figuring out how I wanted to go about that, I think, I definitely could have gone to medical school. I know I could have. But figuring out that's just not how I want to be pivotal in others' lives. I want to do it in a different way. So that was perfectly said.
Do you think that your own struggles has helped you be a better trainer? Even though you're not necessarily a trainer now, you're constantly preaching on your Instagram and you have your blog. Do you think that's kind of made you into more empathetic towards others in that situation and knowing how to train them, I guess?
No, absolutely. Because, I've been on both sides of it. I've been on the side of I think I'm being healthy and I think I'm doing all the things right, but something's not clicking, something's not working. What is it? And having to figure that out for myself. And there's actually so many dimensions to health that people don't realize. It's
Absolutely.
Not just I'm cutting calories, I'm restricting myself. There's so much more to that. And so I've been on that side of it, but now I'm on the other side where I feel I'm seeing with, two different sides of it. And I'm now where I am, and I'm figuring out those balances and figuring out the dimensions and how to fully do that thing. I'm able to help other people that are kind of in that same position. I have a friend that I'm really working with right now, and I'm teaching her how to weight lift and that kind of thing, because that's not something she was familiar with. But then, we realized that there was an eating issue there as well. And so I've been encouraging her, like, hey, you got to feel your body to be able to work out, and not even to lose weight. Like, that's not even the goal there. It's for her to feel good in general. And because I had that experience, I can empathize with her, and like, I get where you are, 100% get where you are, but like, let's work on it, and let's do it slow. It's not an overnight thing. You're not going to go from barely eating to I'm getting my full calories for the day, I'm kicking ass. That is, a long process, and that I'm willing to work with that with her, because been there, done that, girl. I want to just get you to where you want to be.
Absolutely. And that kind of feeds into something that I know I see all the time, and I'm sure, we all see it, but diet culture is just so prevalent nowadays, where it's a meme to drink iced coffee to suppress your appetite. But that is not a good relationship with food, but that's seen as something that's funny. So how do you think diet culture being so normalized and almost like if you don't know anything about diet and nutrition, you don't see it as diet culture. You see it as fueling your body, really. Like, you just don't know any better. How do you think that negatively affects people?
So personally speaking, there is a phrase that I will never forget that was said to me, that nothing tastes as good as skinny does. And that phrase went over and over and over in my head, that I would eat something and I'm like, oh, but nothing tastes as good as skinny does, that I should chew it to get like the taste and then like spit it out. But at the same time, I was like, but I don't want to spit it out. Like, I want to eat this. This tastes good. And, that's going to affect somebody, because they think like, okay, I'm supposed to eat healthy because that's what society tells me, that I need to eat chicken and broccoli and rice, and that's it. Now, why? Some of my tips, my staples, I love it. But, having that restriction that you're like, oh, I'm only eating good, and putting that label on a food, no. Food does not have labels. It is not good and bad. It is fuel, period. It has to do with the nutrition density. And yes, that plays a role. But if you want a freaking candy bar, eat a candy bar, dude. Because restricting yourself, what's going to happen is Monday through Friday, I'm eating so good. I'm so good. The weekend comes, baby, I'm all in. I'm eating everything. Or that can be an everyday thing, cycle, where you wake up and, oh, I'm going to do good today. I'm going to do really good. I'm eating one egg and some coffee, and that's it. And then by, dinner time, you're home, and I'm eating the whole fridge, the pantry, brownies, give me everything. And I didn't realize what it did. That ruins your metabolism. Your metabolism is like crying. And, that's the binge restrict cycle that honestly diet culture, I don't want to say it teaches, but it pushes. And, people don't realize how much that messes up your metabolism. And they're like, oh, I'm doing so good. I'm eating so good. Why am I not losing weight? Your metabolism is hurting. It doesn't, you're not feeding it, and then you're overfeeding it, and you're doing this back and forth thing, and it's just trying to make you survive, man. And it's having a hard time when you're not being consistent. And diet culture, not only is it that, but it is a mental thing, man. Like, personally, I used to obsess about food, like to the point where I thought about food all day long.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm eating bad, I'm eating terrible, and then it's, oh, I want to eat that kind of thing. And it shouldn't be like that.
Absolutely. And I think there's power in knowing, like, yes, there are healthy and unhealthy foods, but it's not good or bad. You can have the quote unquote unhealthy foods without feeling bad. We talk about it in a previous episode, where food should not be moralized. There's no good or bad, like, even vegan versus non-vegan, like, you're not bad for eating chicken. Like,
exactly.
Diet culture just makes you think that you need 10 calories of chips in order to, like, be filled, and that's all you need. And we also talked about it, how everybody is so different. Like, what your high protein is not my high protein, and his high protein. It's just so specialized to the individual, and you can't just go off of the front of the label and what Twitter tells you.
Well, I actually kind of want to add to that, like, feel like the influencers these days, like, and I'm not dragging anybody, but they want to give you a cookie cutter diet. They want to give you a cookie cutter workout plan that, oh, this will help you lose 15 pounds. Okay, not necessarily, because every body is different. Like, they require different nutrients, different amounts of nutrients, and different workouts, but also like the whole lose 10 pounds in 2 days by only drinking this certain drink. Well, first of all, you're not losing 10 pounds of fat. It's probably water weight. And second of all, that's terrible to do to your body. You're basically starving yourself. And I think, you know, the influencers kind of play on the diet culture.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, people subscribe to these like workout apps, and then totally okay that you're working out, but you can't expect to see results just from doing that one workout. That one workout wasn't made for you. And also, losing weight is so much more than the in the gym aspect. And I think most people don't understand that. And that goes back to the lack of education on food and even PE classes.
I didn't realize that like nutrition knowledge wasn't common knowledge. I didn't know that, because I kind of people where, you know, I was kind of taught about, oh, this is good for you, this is good for you, you know, that kind of thing. So I didn't understand, like, oh, people weren't taught about this, and which is why I also just want to share and educate people, because it should be common knowledge. Everybody should know how to take care of their bodies. But unfortunately, you know, the diet culture takes over.
Absolutely. And if you're willing, do you want to share? You've already kind of shared like some little pieces of like your journey with a negative relationship with food. Do you want to share a little more about that and how that kind of started? And then also with diet culture, how did you realize, like, what was your like, aha, this is not good moment?
Okay, so I'm going to try to make this short. Honestly, I didn't realize that I was struggling with, I guess we can call it an eating disorder. I had no idea that that wasn't normal, that the way that I was taking care of myself, quote unquote, was bad. So looking back at it, and I've done a lot of like thinking back to, you know, my life and stuff. I had been struggling with this issue since middle school. So like almost a decade, about like 7 years, which is insane to me that, you know, it went so unnoticed. Like in middle school, I wouldn't take my sweatshirt off. I would not take my sweatshirt off. It didn't matter how hot I was, you know, anything. I did not want people to see me because I thought I looked fat. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm like this tiny little middle schooler, and I was scared of looking fat. So that's kind of like where it started. And I started dieting in middle school. Middle schoolers should never diet. Your body is growing. It needs food. It needs fuel. Like, no, like I should not have been dieting in middle school. And so that kind of started the labeling of the good and bad foods for me. And I started seeing, you know, oh, I need to eat really healthy. And I'd do really good on a diet. And then as soon as it was over, I was eating everything. And so those were like very small. They did not like run my world, but I still was seeing that I was fat and that I needed to diet and lose weight. So, you know, fast forward to high school, I still had really big body image issues. You know, I remember sitting in the cafeteria eating my crappy, what I thought was healthy and fueling lunch, watching everybody just enjoy their food. And I'm sitting there like, how do they eat this and enjoy that and not feel terrible? Like, you know, and I, you know, remember in like my junior or senior year, I was buying my lunch and soup was $2. So I bought the soup and I ate that for lunch, and I didn't eat breakfast. And God knows how I survived, because I was in cross country, and, you know, I'd eat dinner, but like was not giving myself what I needed. And I think it got even worse in college because I didn't address the issue. And my binges started lasting, like they started lasting a lot longer as senior year ended, because I started restricting even heavier. And so my binges would, you know, it'd be like a day cycle, then a week cycle. Then it became months of like this. And then there was one day, like senior year summer, I like stepped on the scale for the first time in a long time, and I weighed 168 pounds. And what I had weighed all through high school was like 130. It was a very healthy body weight for my height. And I saw that and I wanted to throw up. I was like, I cannot believe I let myself get here. How did I do this to myself? And I remember going to the store and immediately buying all these healthy groceries, whatever. But then I'd eat all of it in like one sitting. It doesn't, just because you buy healthy food, it doesn't make it healthy if you
don't eat it in moderation. Right.
Yes. And so that kind of started the really bad binges where they were months long. Like I would be eating McDonald's and Wendy's and talk about all in like one night, like kind of thing. And, you know, I'd go and buy groceries and I'd be eating everything I bought in that one sitting. And I started to realize that there was a really major issue. I would say like my aha moment was like fall of my sophomore year. And I was like, I cannot keep going on like this. Like I'm miserable. Like I obsess over my body, over what I eat. And I was like, this can't be normal, because I know I felt singled out. I felt like I was the only one going through this. I was like, nobody else does this. Like, what's wrong with me? And nothing was wrong with me. I was at UPS at the time, working third shift, just absolutely mentally exhausted. I ended up leaving there. And starting in January, I, started to really work on my mental health, started to try to heal that relationship with food. And, you know, it was not easy. You know, I started therapy and started talking about my body image issues and, you know, really working through where like the root of the issue was. And, you know, I did this one thing, and I actually talk about it on my blog, where I had somebody paint me. I took pictures of myself and I had them paint it. And I saw myself as art. And I was like, holy crap, like that's me. I'm beautiful. And this was before I even started losing weight, just working on my, you know, my journey of like loving myself. And that really catapulted me into like loving myself and taking care of myself. And I started seeing food as fuel and like, I'm going to take care of my body. And that was like such a pivotal moment for me. And like, you know, here I am right now, and I love food and I eat it in moderation. I enjoy it, and I don't obsess over it anymore. And it's amazing. It doesn't run my world.
Yeah. I think that's super interesting that looking back, you even see it like starting in middle school, but it's not something in middle school that like we don't learn about eating disorders. You know, it's like so like walking on shells, eating disorders are, that avoiding them does more harm than if we were to teach people, here are the signs, here are the symptoms, here's what we can do. And I think it's interesting that, you know, looking back, you do see it in yourself, even in just one or two ways in middle school. And I think there's going to be a huge issue as technology and social media continues to get younger and younger with their use. When will dieting start now? Like in fifth graders, like they're looking up and they're seeing all these influencers and eating, you know, 1,000 calories a day.
And they think that's healthy.
Right. And it's like social media has such a high potential to help people with people like us three. And then there's those people that we don't get as much attention because we're doing it the right way, it seems like. And people doing it the wrong way that look healthy because they're skinny, because people associate health with skinny, are getting these massive amounts of followers. But little do we know that's not healthy.
No, it isn't. I think there is a little bit of a fight back for that. I know that there's a lot of movements right now, like the body positivity. And honestly, like I feel like TikTok is a good and bad app where I feel like a lot of people are really trying to educate. That's actually where I learned that I was like, binge eating is a eating disorder. I thought it was normal. Like that's actually where I kind of started to like learn about it. And I was like, that's crazy to me. So I think like there are some forums that are really fighting it. And I think that's great. And I think what we do is continue to fight it and continue to, you know, educate people on how to take care of your body, you know, love yourself. And that comes from not just what you eat and going to the gym, but like how you take care of yourself. Like, do you give yourself enough water? Do you get enough sleep? You know, that was another thing. Like I didn't sleep. Like I pulled so many all-nighters. It's insane. And like people don't see those as dimensions of health, but they are a huge piece in how your body functions. And I think, just keep educating.
Absolutely. And like you mentioned, sleep. I mean, it just goes back to the lack of education around health. The high school health class I had, it introduced me to health, and it really started my passion for health promotion and health education. But looking back, we learned about how Gatorade and gum causes cancer. Like, no, let's talk about how sleep affects you, and let's talk about exercise and nutrition. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
It's just the education is where it begins, starting in middle school. But nobody
I think
sees.
it's failing us because, like you said, I don't even remember my health class. Like, I know I had it. I don't remember it because it wasn't pivotal at all. It didn't make an impact that I think, like, a nutrition class just to teach you, like I'm in one right now and I love it. And I'm learning so much. I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. And yes, what you eat, like Gatorade and gum, can cause cancer. Right. That's great. And I'm glad we know that. But, like, what about, your macro and micronutrients? People don't realize vitamins and minerals actually help your body function, like, with enzymes.
Right.
Like, so cool to me, which, hashtag nerd alert over here. But, like,
Same.
That's something people should know. Like, oh, vegetables are good for me. I know, but vegetables taste like crap. I know, whatever. Oh, but vegetables provide me with fiber, which helps me keep regular. Vegetables provide me with vitamins and minerals that our bodies can't necessarily make in sufficient amounts. That helps me actually function. Knowing those things make me want to eat vegetables so much more. And, like, I didn't realize I need to add more vegetables to my diet. Stuff like that is going to be so much more educational and helpful than don't drink Gatorade, it can cause cancer.
Right.
Like, I'm still going to drink Gatorade. It tastes good. So,
right.
Instead of getting to, like, the root of the issue and teaching them, like, how to take care of themselves, it's, let's just make you feel better. Like, that was wonderful. Thank you for that. Actually, you all will love this. My weight training professor, he works in a health preventative clinic. I think that's what you call it. But basically, that's what he's doing. And I think he started it or something, but that's what he's doing, is teaching people how to take care of themselves so they don't have to get sick and doctor.
Yeah, we always say be preventative, not, what is it again?
Preventing something and not
reacting.
Yes, that's it.
Be preventative, not reactive.
That.
Yeah.
Proactive, not reactive. There you go.
Thank you.
I knew it was in there somewhere.
It was somewhere. P and R.
Yeah.
So I know you always post on your Instagram about like different workouts you're doing. She did 9 rounds today.
Oh wow.
He used to do 9 rounds.
Yeah, that was fun. I like that.
So is there a specific kind of workout that you really love and that you see yourself sticking with long term, or do you prefer to, like, just constantly be switching it up?
Okay, so I love weight training. I definitely, she's my bestie. I love her. I'm gonna stick with her forever, right? And that's something I've been doing, like I said, for a very long time. After cross country meet, I'd go to the gym with my dad and we'd go lift. So that is something that's never gonna leave. But, as I've been educating myself more, I realized that I lack on flexibility. I lack on my cardio. I hate cardio. Whoops.
Same.
And so I realized, okay, I need to work on that more. So, I did cycle bar for a while, but my paycheck didn't love cycle bar as much as I did. So, I was just looking for different ways to kind of force myself to like get cardio in. Okay, how can we be more flexible and work on that side of it? And, and lately I just been wanting to spice things up and just try new things. So, I tried hot yoga, fell in love with it, and I'm doing, their 35 for 35, and I'm having a blast. And I think, with sticking with exercise adherence, a big part of it is, breaking the routine and adding that variety, because you get so bored sometimes. And as much as I love lifting and hitting those PRs, I'm like, oh, I'm strong as hell. Look at me, like hyping myself up. Still, sometimes I'm walking in, I'm like, I don't want to be here. And doing different fun workouts just for the hell of it helps. I'm still moving my body, but I'm breaking things up a little bit. So, I'm just doing that lately, and I'm just showing people, like, I've never done anything like 9 rounds. Was I amazing at it? No. But was it fun? And did I move my body? Yes. So that's just kind of what I'm doing right now.
So would you say that you have any goals right now other than just movement and finding your balance?
I am currently trying to get down to a healthy body weight, but in a healthy manner. Like, it's not a number that is really sticking to me like it used to. More just how I feel, and, different non-scale victories. Like, I wore a sports bra to a workout, and I have not done that since senior year of cross country. I was so scared to, like, wear a sports bra, and, so, losing weight, but that's not gonna kill me if I don't hit it in a certain amount of time, because, your body's different, life happens, kind of thing. So, continuing to pursue, healthy body image and self-care, but, lose weight's also something that I want, but I don't want that to be the forefront. And I don't want people to take a message away like, lose weight, got it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Because that, at the end of the day, is not the most important thing whatsoever. Because, as I'm leaning out, I also want to put some muscle on. I want to be freaking the female Hulk, baby. Okay, we're going to be swole. But that doesn't happen.
Well, we're competing for that spot, sis. So.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think that's super important that, you're not losing weight for weight loss and for self-love purposes. You're losing weight, and I don't even want to say to be at a proper BMI, but just you're losing weight based off of how you feel. And that's what is important, because you can't look online and say, I'm 5'4", and what should my weight be? It's not, it online doesn't take into consideration anything about you.
Like your muscle mass, that's something that irritates me. The BMI scale says I am overweight.
Same.
And I have a lot of muscle mass, and I'm really short. And, that's something else. It's like, that's why I don't want people to look at the scale and make that their, like, well, like, put it on a scale, or put it on thank you, and prioritize it. Like, I weigh myself, but I use it as a tool to kind of see where I am, where I'm going. Am I holding a lot of water? I have a scale that shows me all those things. And weight loss is kind of like, I say it's like an added bonus. Like, oh, I'm doing all these things, and I'm loving myself, and I'm having a great time. And guess what? I'm losing some weight too. That's super cool. And I don't put it on the forefront.
Yeah, I think that's super important, because, it's so hard in this time. And I don't want to say this, and I struggle to say this, but, like, your weight doesn't matter, and it's not the most important thing, but being healthy and at a healthy weight is important. And so I think online, it's super hard to find that balance of self-love, but also being healthy.
Yes.
And that's where there's a lot of, I don't know how to say it, but just, like, it's not unhealthy people, but people preach about unhealthy habits, let's just say. And that's okay, but we also have to realize there is a side of weight that is health-based. So I think finding that balance where you can love yourself, but we also need to focus on our long-term health.
Yes, that's so huge. People don't realize, like, how you treat your body now, there's long-term effects. Like, the short terms are, oh, my jeans fit a little bit better, or they're a little bit tighter, stuff like that. But long-term, like heart issues.
Right.
And tension and, blood clots and with the heart problems, all that stuff, that has to do with what you feed your body and how you take care of it. And I think I like to call them like tools in my toolbox, and you use it as a tool and to be able to see the long term. Like, I'm building a house. It's a marathon, it's a sprint. There's an end goal here, but it's, it's not the short term, like, getting the foundation that, check it in, that's the short term, getting the walls up, short term, electric, that kind of thing. And that's the same with your health. I'm getting enough sleep. Check that off. I'm getting a gallon of water every day because I'm crazy. Check that off. I'm working at that kind of thing. There's all these little itty pieces to it. And at the end of the day, it leads you to just overall health. And that, that's the goal. And which in the long term will prevent you from having all those heart issues and stuff like that. It's not about the weight. It's about how you take care of your body.
Absolutely. That's beautifully said.
I feel like people are like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds for spring break, whatever.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's awesome. But what are you going to do about that long term? And so people see dieting as like a one and done thing when they don't realize that, like, taking care of your body, that never stops. I mean, that's a continuous process. What was I saying? That we'll cut that part out.
Yeah, no, I agree. The spring break, spring break preparation really, really grinds my gears because they lose, let's just say 5-10 pounds. They hit their goal. They go on spring break. They feel good. Great. What are you putting in your body during spring break that is gaining that right back?
I can go out this weekend and celebrate my friend's birthday and have a blast and come back and, oh my God, I'm up 5 pounds. And then I'm like, no, you're not. You're up 5 pounds of like water weight, or you have more food in your stomach than you normally would. And a lot of people see that and they're like, oh, I'm just going to quit. I don't want to do it anymore. I've done that before. I've seen it and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm beating myself up. Now I tell myself, bro, like, chill out, like, just drink some water, get the gym, you're good. Like, continue to eat like you normally would. Don't stop eating. Just keep moving. Drink that water. It'll go down, and guess what? The next day, you're back at your normal weight.
Right. And yeah, I think that's super important, that a night out doesn't equal a restriction the next day. It equals getting back on track to your normal day. 1 day off, 3 days off, 3 weeks off, you just get right back on. Like, it's just, you can't go into these binge and restriction periods, because that's when it gets so, like, not so far gone, but you know what I'm saying? Like, harder to get back on track.
Right, and you're too busy beating yourself up because you didn't eat good that day to really see the end all be all. And you know what? Have fun on spring break. Like, that's fine. Is that something you do daily? No? Okay. In moderation, it's fine. But don't be mad at yourself because you came back and you weigh a little bit more than when you left. Well, that makes sense. You weren't, doing your normal stuff. Like, your body is trying to understand what's going on.
Right. And then just one last piece of advice that you have for someone looking to improve their relationship with exercise or food, or one or the other, whatever you want to touch on.
Ooh, I like that. My therapist had me do this, and I thought it was really stupid, but it was a huge game changer for me. And it helps, not only is going to help with all your goals, but it's going to help you love yourself. I was like, dude, I don't take pictures of myself. I don't take selfies. I don't take photos out. I have no photos of 2 years of college, not a single one, maybe a couple, but really none at all. And he was like, okay, well, let's make it a goal that you start taking pictures of yourself. I'm like, ew, I don't really want to see myself that much, but okay, I feel you, man. I'm going to go with it because you got the degree and I don't, all right?
I'm paying you.
My advice is to take pictures of yourself. And you know what? Hype yourself up. Like, you see that and you're like, damn, girl, you cute. Like, I see it. And continuously just pour that love into yourself. And I think that that's something that is going to help you if you're struggling with like body image issues, or just you're feeling like you're not hitting your goals, you're in a plateau, whatever, you feel like you ate too much. Look at this selfie, dude. I look so cute. Like, this is awesome. And I think that also ties in what I talked about earlier, is I, took pictures of myself, which was so insanely hard for me to do. And I had to pick out a picture that I liked of myself. Again, super hard for me to do. But then the end goal was beautiful. And, that painting hangs up in my bathroom. I see it every day and I love it. So take pictures of yourself.
So just so the audience has it clear, we don't mean pictures like progress pictures, like, oh, hit the gym, let's compare these pictures from now to next week.
Right.
You mean like not necessarily like get cute pictures, but like random pictures of yourself having fun, loving yourself, loving life.
Literally. No, that's perfect. Thank you for clarifying it. Like, yes, progress pictures are great. You can still do those. I definitely recommend, because the scale can be misleading and can hurt, upset you. But just like genuine pictures of yourself, and, hey, let's take a picture real quick. We're having a great time. And, I have no makeup on, whatever. Who cares? Like, let's remember this moment. And I used to hide from that. And now I look back and I have all these memories. But it was something that helped me grow with myself.
Absolutely. I think, taking pictures when you don't want to take pictures. Everybody wants to take pictures to post on Instagram now. We never want to take pictures just to have in the memory bank. It's always, oh, I'm going to post this. And then, oh, my stomach's like not great, so I'm not going to post it. So just delete the whole photo.
Literally. Or, oh, it didn't get enough likes on the gram. Like, I should just delete it. Obviously didn't like it. Well, who cares if they like it?
Right.
Like,
I stopped caring about that, and it seriously helped so much. Like, I literally don't care how many people like it. If 2 people like a photo, it's still going to stay up there for me.
Literally. Like, I don't like that a number of likes dictates how you feel about a photo. I like that photo, but I'm going to share it on the wall.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to touch on?
Honestly, I love everything that we talked about. I feel like this is great. If you all want to find me, my Instagram handle is @faith_cheers. Yes, like the show, and yes, that's my last name. And then I recently started a blog, and it really kind of dives into, exactly what we were talking about today. So, if you'd like to give it, check it out. That's cool. If you don't, share it. That would be great. Cheers to your best years, because that's how we be living life, babe.
Absolutely. And it's good. You have some or a grocery haul on there right now, and she just kind of talks about ways to switch up your workouts and just her story a little bit. It's really good insight, and it's a good way to know that you're not alone. There's always someone in your position or that has gone through it that can relate to you.
And thank you so much for having me on here. I loved, sharing and bouncing ideas back and forth with you guys. This was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for taking your time. I know you're probably really busy with college and your new pup and everything. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And that's the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on all the channels, YouTube channels, Apple Podcast channels, Spotify, anywhere else you get podcasts. Subscribe. Leave us a comment if you can, anywhere. Leave us a rating and review if you can, anywhere. And just look out for more cool stuff coming.
Absolutely. You can find us on Instagram at Holly with 2 Y's, Voles.
At Daniel.personaltraining.
And just feel free to reach out. Let us know how you feel about this podcast. Let us know if you want to be on the podcast. Let us know what you want to hear.
Yes, do all that. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.